Hey you, today we're going to be talking about School Live. I've been calling it School Live for a long time, but I'm guessing Live Live. It's the same thing. But I had to say, this image scared me for a while, but oh my god, was this a very good anime. The general information about this anime is pretty much about a group of girls that are pretty much stuck in a high school and everywhere are zombies. When I was looking and choosing at this anime, I thought it was very much like Love Live. I thought it was about that. I thought, you know what? I've not seen that anime. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to see what all the fuss is about. So this should be a jumping in point. Boy, was I wrong, and I'm glad I was, because this anime, I have to say, is absolutely fantastic. To me, there was some kind of about this, and this was pretty much how the anime was done at the very beginning. You're introduced to all these characters straight away, and it feels like it's very in the middle of the anime rather than at the very beginning. So you see like Mei-kun and she's interacting with Tomaru and everyone else, but then all of a sudden later on it jumps to how she met the girls. I kind of think that what they should have done is kind of have this at the very beginning where you see other characters such as like Yuki and how they became, like how they all became friends, how you meet other characters and the teacher Meganay. So you kind of think, put this at the very beginning and let it tell itself in chronological order rather than, boom, here's this really random anime. Boom, here's like half the season on how the girls all meet up with Mei-kun and Tomoro. Loads of things like that. So it's kind of very weird. I thought when I was watching the first episode that it was kind of like a back-telling and etc. It got really kind of confusing, but it pans out really, really well. As I continue, this will contain spoilers, but the anime's been out for such a long time. I don't think it needs a spoiler warning, but if you've not seen it, this video is going to have heavy spoilers. So let's continue. In the first couple of episodes, it's very, very trippy, but it's very, very well done. And this is between Yuki, Meganay, and the other cast. They all interact, and you kind of think, they're all together, you know, the teacher's there, and some of the other students. But as it kind of progresses, you find out this is all in Yuki's mind, and everybody is kind of playing along to make sure that Yuki doesn't freak out and that she doesn't scream every time, or that she doesn't have a massive mental breakdown. But it's kind of very well played when you actually kind of look at it. When I say it's very clever, you see like Meganay, she's very kind of like interacting with Yuki alone, but it's certain things like when they're in classrooms, and as I said, like kind of weirdly with like the first episode, you say Mi-chan, and she's kind of like, when she sees Yuki in the classroom, and obviously you kind of don't really pick it up. You just see that the other people are kind of reacting to her. You think, okay, I'm perfectly fine with this. This is a little bit weird, but so on and so on, until you actually realize the students and even Meganay are all in Yuki's head, and everyone's just playing along with it. You think, I kind of dig the psychological effect that this has got. So yeah, I'm okay with this. It's very kind of clever as well, because as you're walking through the school at the very end of the first episode, you see lots of destruction, but at the very beginning, everything seems like it's normal, that nothing has happened. And when Mei-chan is kind of looking around and actually interacting, you see that there's nothing there, there's just destruction, there's a lot of stuff. And again, well played. I really want a season 2. So let's talk about the episodes and the special features. So each episode's around about 25 minutes, and you get 2 discs. There are no really special features bar trailers. So let's talk about the overview. The anime follows a set of main characters. Yuki, who is the main centric character. Kurumi, who has the shovel, and she's the kind of like the tomboy but the protector of the girls. Mei-kun, who you kind of meet in the first episode, but you kind of find out her backstory about how she joined the girls and what happened to her. You have Risan, who is the kind of the mother, the kind of the person that puts people in their place. She helps cook, she helps like organize stuff, and she keeps Yuki in line. Then you have Meganay, who is a really cool character. She, I think, has the kind of the worst fate of them all. And then you also have Tomaru, the dog, who I can't actually stand. As the anime follows these girls, you find out that there has been a zombie outbreak, a virus that has gone around and killed lots and lots of people. You don't know if it is a worldwide thing or if it's just in the area or in Japan, but a virus has broken out and it spreads quite quickly. It first attacks a mall. This is when you first meet Meikun, and then obviously then it gets to the school and everybody is kind of in a panic. The anime doesn't actually tell you a lot straight away. It kind of like builds itself up. So rather than saying, boom, here's everything, it kind of like leads up, which is really good for the storytelling. It doesn't really take itself too seriously. At times you'll see like chibi heads, like the girls will have big heads as they're explaining, or Yuki will just keep screaming and screaming, or there'll be little things in the anime that I kind of generally really like, which kind of work well, and it kind of doesn't take you out of that serious tone. It says, here's a serious tone, here's a comedic effect, here is the rest of the anime, and I really like that balance. Episode 3 shows you what happens to Meganay, and I have to admit, she has one of the most kind of the saddest stories of them all. You find out that in this episode, episode 3, that she is getting ready for school, and her mum is like sending messages saying, hey, you know, are you okay? You were really quiet as a child, etc., etc., and it's kind of like makes you think, oh, thanks, Mom. Why would you send me those sorts of messages? But as the day kind of progresses on, you see that her mum gets kind of worried by sending her lots of messages saying, are you okay? Call me, etc., etc. And then obviously the teachers in the building, when they've become her friend, they get obviously attacked, which you see off screen, but you hear on like the messages, like where they're screaming to help you, and Meganay is thrown into a situation where she has to protect, and it's not just a, oh, you know, hearty handshake, pull them away, it's a, what would you do in this situation? And I really like that about the character. As the anime progresses, you do see the made up version of Meganay inside Yuki's head, but when you see this picture, literally later on, I think it's on the second disc, oh my god, the feels. But also within this the third episode, she actually writes down what's happening, so it becomes a more of a basic story, and you really feel for the character. And I've got to admit, you just get all this sort of feelings for this one particular person. Later on, you find out about Mikun and how she becomes who she is. She's seen the zombie outbreak, she's seen everything that's going on, and she doesn't want to go out there because she wants to stay safe. And she has a friend who I can't really remember the name at the moment, but she is like trying to protect her friend. They obviously, at the very beginning, you see that she meets Tomaru, the dog, and this old lady, and the old lady gets bit, and it's like, what? This is crazy. Why did I say that? But it's so very kind of really random. The fact that Meikun has really got to try and be herself, but she goes through this whole like kind of like, someone's got to come and save us, but I'm kind of depressed because I don't know what to do. You know, my friend wants to leave. What am I going to do? And you kind of feel for the character, and you kind of see why her personality is like that. In this anime, there is a lot of emotion that you see, and as it progresses, it gets better and better over time. I can watch this over and over and over again and not get bored. But this also anime made me really want to go read the manga, because I'm guessing the manga has everything that's out. So hopefully in time, I'll probably download it while I'm on holiday, and I'll just read it on the plane, and I'll be like, oh my god, this is amazing. I did also really like that this is more of like a military base, that no one knew about it until the very end, because the school is kind of really packed out. It's got solar panels, it's got its own proper water filtration system, you know, it's able to keep itself sustained for many, many years. So let's talk about the animation. I really like the animation. I didn't expect it to be this good to me, and the way that it's very fluid. When I was watching it scene for scene, I couldn't see any problems, so I know that this has been taken care of and it's actually not being rushed. The way that it went to cute, to super cute, to funny, then to the kind of horror stage, it was very well done, and I have to admit, I have got to give them the hats off, because at some point you could see that there was so much suspense. Boom, it kind of dropped it in, and it was absolutely fantastic. The way it thinks that Meganay is still about is, I didn't really pick this up when like the characters were ignoring them, or at certain points when Meganay was like saying, oh hey, we can do this, and someone would jump in, she was like, oh, but I wanted to say that. I didn't really pick this up until much, much later on, when you found out what happened to her. So it kind of like makes you believe that this person is still alive and she's still interacting. But even when the characters were talking to her, like going, nice job, Meganay, you kind of thought, oh, so is she dead? Is she alive? What's actually happening? So when the zombies had black auras and kind of light eyes, you knew that these were the bad guys. This was a symbolism in there to say, hey, you know, you can trust that the people that don't have these auras and shining eyes, they are the bad guys, but the ones that don't have it, they are the good guys. And I kind of really like this. Even I think Tomaru gets it later on, because he gets bit as well, and that's kind of really weird. Also, I've got to admit, like, as soon as you go to the mall episode and they're looking around for supplies, like when it shows you Meikun's like memories, and the buildings are absolutely fine. Even the top windows, there's nothing there. But all of a sudden, within the space of like maybe 5 hours, everything is destroyed. Even when you look at the kind of school, everything is destroyed. Like someone's gone up to the really top window and gone, yeah, I don't like that, and punched it through. So I kind of thought this was a little bit kind of cool. I really like the destruction of the buildings, because it did kind of give that zombie apocalypse. It wasn't just something very kind of basic. So the progression to show you, like, this is what's happened, it's all run down. The animation was bright, it was colourful, and you could tell by the differences of what was happening. And I know that I could never get bored, and the fact that I could watch this anime over and over and over again. Let's talk about the writing. So the writing for the anime I found was very interesting. I found it a very decent balance, from humor to horror to actually cute style. And this really impressed me. I never found myself being bored. I never wanted to kind of turn over when watching this. I was intrigued. If I could ever talk about one bad thing, I'm guessing Yuki would be the main thing at the very beginning, because she was one of the type of characters that when you see her, she's very loud, she's very kid-like. And even if it was this sort of age, you think that she would be kind of a bit more mellow. I know that she's been through a trauma, and I know that Meganay was really close to her, and I can see that happening. But at times, when like some of the girls would say, be quiet, and she'd be like, yes, oops, it'd be like, be quiet. Even like they say, again in the mall episode, they say, you can't make a sound, and she just keeps shouting and shouting. And it's just like, why aren't you listening? Is it because you're so excited? Is it because you've blocked out a lot of stuff in your mind? What are you? What are you here? And she did annoy me. And that's, I think, the only bad writing was mainly her character. Now, I know I'm going to have a lot of people saying, that's not right, she was a good character. But at the very beginning, she's very annoying to me. As I mentioned before, there's so many things like you don't know about Meganay. It's really clever writing. It's like the film with Bruce Willis and that kid. It's I See Dead People. I didn't notice this until much of the end, but now when I watch it and introduce this to people, I kind of really want to see their reaction to it. So one thing in the writing that I kind of possibly would have changed was how they make Mikun. I wouldn't have said that you see it at the very beginning. I kind of think that you would concentrate on the main girl straight away, and then obviously as time progresses, that's when they meet Mikun, and she changes and she sees how Yuki is, and that's how the audience kind of comes in and says, oh, I didn't realize there was a lot of destruction in Yuki's mind. How is this happening? And then suddenly that's when Meikun's like, oh, I didn't know this is happening, and the girls have to kind of explain it. So let's talk about the characters. Although I liked pretty much everybody in this anime, again, as I've noticed, like Yuki was the one thing that kind of annoyed it for me much later on. The way that she'd be running around constantly, chasing Tomaru. I'm going to call him Tomaru. When she's chasing the dog constantly, and the dog is just like, oh, I don't care, I'm going to go through here. I've learned how to open doors. It's the way that Yuki was, and that really drove me kind of insane to the point where I just want to say, nope, I'm done with this. I don't want anything to do with this character. But as the kind of the other characters like Kurumi, Meikun, and Risan, Meganay I think was possibly one of my favorite characters. I really liked how those characters like kind of grew on you really quickly. Like you didn't really need to know much of a backstory because they were so kind of fun, they were so kind of energetic, and that's what I really liked. Even though Yuki was an annoying character, she was also one of the most interesting, mainly because of how her mind worked. Now obviously with the amount of exposure to the trauma, to the zombies, on how she saw Meganay's death, that she was able to create this entire world and actually become the cheery person, the person that would never give up. So like the other characters, Kurumi, Mikan, Risan, and even Meganay, they all had different roles, from teacher to sister to mother to protector, and I liked this because it showed, as I said, a lot of balance in it. They were able to determine how to go to normal mode to survival mode, and they were able to switch quite quickly, and this really kind of made them stand out as characters, and I was able to kind of remember them, to kind of be able to replay the stories in my head if I needed to. But I really liked how they played their roles and how they utilized it in the anime. They showed a lot of growth, they showed a lot of potential, and obviously as characters move on, if one of them passed on or was killed, you would really know, and you would kind of really feel that heartbreak of, oh my god, even Meganay, as I said, when you see this picture, I was just, oh no, oh no. I felt kind of really down when I knew what happened to Meganay. I was like, oh no, why? She was so cool. What made this interesting for me is how everything kind of pulled together. The way that Meganay would be there, you know, she'd be talking and saying, hey, you know, listen to my ideas, when even the others ignored her because obviously she's dead. But the way that when you look back at certain scenes, that Meganay is not there. It's all of a sudden when later on Yuki has to talk to Meganay, that's when she's there. You know, this is what I thought was just absolutely perfect. It was also the storytelling. It wasn't very kind of boring. It didn't kind of go, oh, it's another one of these episodes. It really showed a very good storytelling of progression. From the very first episode, you're kind of hooked. You want to know why the zombie outbreak happened. How did they survive? What did they do? Rather than telling you everything straight away and then being one of those animes where it's just like, yeah, we're going to still do the school thing, but you know, it's going to be completely different. I also really like Yuki's perception of what happened. So obviously she's talking to her classmates. At the very beginning, when Mikun turns in and she opens the door, everyone's like, oh, and Yuki's like, no, you know, you can't do that. I think I would have probably toned down Yuki a little bit. I would have got rid of Tomaru because I know that he's important later on, but to me, I think that it was just one of those things of, let's put something cute in to make everyone go, I need to watch this. He's cute. Oh my god, I love him, etc., etc. But he just generally just didn't need to be there. Even at the very end, he does save the girls, but again, he is a zombie and you don't really see zombie animals, so I will give him a pass a little bit. When it came to the scene that I keep referencing, there was a huge, massive surge of emotion, and that's what I really liked with this. You know, it wasn't a, I forget these characters like I've seen in some animes that I've reviewed or just kind of followed through the years where I'm like, oh, I just don't care about the character. It felt like you really kind of were invested in these characters, that you wanted them to survive, you wanted them to all be friends, and that they would carry on. At the very beginning of this review, I think I mentioned that with Mikun's friend, that when she sees him outside the car and she's like, oh, nothing, that was heartbreaking to me. When I'm like, oh, okay, Meganay's fine. And then suddenly seeing like Mikun's friend, oh, that was heartbreaking. I really liked the fact that it pulled on the heartstrings, that it made you want to watch more, and I really want the second season. This also made me want to read the manga. I would be happy to read it from chapter 1 to whatever it is now, just to see the progression of the story, because I'm invested in this. This is possibly one of my favorite animes, and I can't recommend this more than enough. Now it made me want to go out and buy the manga, or at least read it online, and do what I can with it, because oh my god, it's so cool. So my final thoughts. My final thoughts on this is it's a great anime. It's something that I would recommend to people. I've shown it to a few people. I'm more than happy to sit and watch the entire season. Even if I've watched it once, even on that same day, I would rewatch it, or I'd rewatch certain episodes to get kind of a grasp again on what's happening. I absolutely love this anime. The color, the sound, the music. So when it came to like characters, I was invested in the characters. The animation, it was to me kind of perfect. It was spot on. Again, there was nothing really that I would go, And then obviously like the kind of the sound, the music, how that was all put in, especially like the emotions that the kind of it all portrayed was perfect to me. So I would highly, highly recommend watching this. And yeah, so I'm going to put a link down below in the comments to where you can buy this. Again, I highly recommend it more than anything. So Rangers, what did you think about this anime? Have you seen it? What are your thoughts? Would you watch it, and would you continue watching it? Would you read the manga? Is it a story that you could keep watching over and over again, or would you introduce it to your friends? Let me know down below in the comments. If you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment, and consider subscribing. Check out everything on the channel. And as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.